Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to week 5, and I kind of want to just show you around a little bit. Week 5 is really fun, it's a great week, and it's got some wonderful presentations in. So I really want you to think about taking some time to go through the week 5 presentation materials. I know I did, and they're really, really worthwhile. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. But anyways, so we start off week 5 with a few different things that we have, excuse me, that we have due. And this week, just when you thought we were going to sit back and rest a little bit, no, we are going to introduce yet another and final project, and this will be our Project 3 brand extension, just the beginning phase this week. So I'll talk about that, but as we take a look at this week's materials, we have the week 5 overview. We have this week 5 presentation, Designing for Education. I want to pop that open real quick. And I want you guys to take a look at something because I know we're all pressed for time here, being students, and a lot of us are working and schooling and everything else. But if you possibly could find about 19 minutes, take a look at this TED Talk right here. I'm just going to pop that open for you. This is Ken Robinson, and he's pretty brilliant in terms of his evaluation of education, specifically in this case, education in the American education system. And plus he's really funny, but there are some profound points being made in this video, and I guarantee you will find it worthwhile. Guarantee it. It is about 20 minutes long though, so keep that in mind. But it's fantastic. And like I said, it's really funny too. Okay, so there's that. And then we have, let's go back here to the activities and Designing for Education. That's what that is. And the reason we're talking about Designing for Education this week is in our brand extension. One of the requirements of the brand extension is to give some sort of direction, to educate the consumer in one way or another. Typically, this is done by showing directions on how to use the product. In this project, you're showing the viewer how to use the product that you're going to present in this brand extension. Okay, so in the announcement, I went through this whole what is brand extension and how does it work, and then I even gave you this little quiz. So make sure you look through that and do some research on brand extension before you really jump into the project itself. Brand extension is something that's very, very, very prevalent in many societies. In America, it's enormous, as we know. So do a little research. It won't be hard to find things. Just get some outside viewpoints from other than the class lectures and what I'm saying. So that's a really good idea. Like I said, it will not be difficult to find any information on brand extension. So in our brand extension, then let's round it out by saying we have the discussion Designing for Education. That's self-explanatory. I'm not going to get into that. You guys are doing fantastic in discussion board. I do want to mention one thing about discussion board. Let's get those initial posts in by Wednesday night, guys. A lot of people are waiting, and you know what? I mean, it's due Wednesday night, and then you have till Sunday to respond. So discussion board posts due Wednesday night, guys, please. I even remind you over here in bold letters, due Wednesday night. Well, Wednesday and a day, whatever. Anyway, discussion Designing for Education is pretty self-explanatory. So again, Wednesday and a day for that initial post. Then you have till Sunday to respond with your 2 additional required response posts. Critique multi-pack concept and brand extension. You guys are doing very well on that. Thank you so much for those of you who are posting early on this. There's a handful who have been posting early consistently since week 1. And I really, really appreciate it. Number 1, it gives me a chance to really provide some good feedback. And number 2, it's good for you because it gives you some time to think about what you're doing, and then compare that to some of the comments that you're getting, critique comments from myself, as well as, response comments and reaction comments and critique comments from your classmates. So I think that would be a logical progression there. Get this in early so that when you turn your final in, you will have already had many comments under your belt. So it doesn't really make sense to turn your critique in, Saturday night and turn your project in Sunday morning, because you will not have had time to receive that critical feedback. Okay. what did I want to do next? I wanted to give you an example. Let's go in and take a look at brand extension begin, and let's take a look at this assignment. Okay, so you will have done your research on brand extension, so you will have been very familiar on what it is and how companies go about it. Okay, so with that in mind, after researching a few sites, you're going to open this guy right here. This is the Week 5 Project 3 brand extension begin phase. And this is due Sunday night. But basically what it is, it's your brainstorming session, and that's what's due at Sunday night. So here's the brand extension package parameters, all right? So, okay, you're going to create a brand extension package, okay? And in the brand extension package, you are going to have a minimum of 1 container and 1 package. Okay, let me show you an example of what that means, 1 container and 1 package. I think it's right here. Come on. Yes, right here. This is 1 container, and those are packages. So that would be an example of a container and a package. I'm also going to give you my example here in a second, but let me go finish through here, then I'll give you my example. Okay, so the item and or package must contain a well-designed list of contents. Remember that it is the first point of contact you get your audience is both familiar and excited. That word new there shouldn't be there. It's get your audience both familiar and excited about the contents. The container and the package must be physically packaged items. Additionally, items will be granted extra credit. Okay, so then you have your brainstorming. This is due Sunday. All surfaces. This is just talking about how you should treat the surfaces. I've said that before throughout the weeks. It's like this is packaging. I mean that is prime real estate. Don't leave any blank surfaces in packaging. It's just oceanfront property. It's really prime real estate, so you have to use it well. Okay, so so brainstorming session. Choose an existing brand from any brand category. Consider world brands. You'll be reaching persona and brand offerings with items and activities that communicate historical, biographical information, actions, ideals, overly personal with the chosen brand. I will get into that. Create a bubble map. That's self-explanatory from here on. This is telling you how to go about your brainstorming. Do this, guys. It works. Create 5 thumbnails. All right, so anyways, after your bubble maps and you list out how is global awareness changing the brand, all of these questions, how is taken. These are great questions to apply to your brand extension. I did it to mine before I wrote my example here. I'll give that to you in a second. And it works. It really does work very, very well. Okay, so then you'll list and explain possible brand extensions and needs in the futures. In addition, write 1 paragraph about the story that the package tells as a whole. All right, so then after you get your ideas, and this Sunday, along with your brainstorming ideas and your bubble map, you're going to create 5 thumbnails for a brand extension solutions. Okay, what does this mean, 5 thumbnails? This means you're going to create 5 different brand extension ideas that meet the parameters of the project. So the 5 different thumbnails, and I even listed it over for you here in bold, so it's right here. The 5 thumbnails are due Sunday. This means 5 completely different products. Okay, so it's not 5 views or 5 different packages from the same solution. It's 5 different brand extension solutions. Okay, again, 5 different solutions. That's 5 completely different products or different brands. Okay, that's important. All right, so that's due Sunday. Now, let me give you my example here, all right? And my example is this. My brand extension is going to be, it's going to be from Starbucks. I know, yeah, another Starbucks product. Great. But anyway, it's going to be from Starbucks. And what it's going to be a pour-over kit that Starbucks sells. And you can buy it, of course, at Starbucks or at the grocery store or wherever. And in this kit, it would sit on the shelf in a main package, and then you would pick up the smaller packages. And in a smaller package, the brand extension would be Starbucks pour-over kit. Okay, pour-over coffee is where you take an actual cone. It's not a coffee machine. You actually take a hard cone-shaped device. You put a filter in it. You put that right over the cup, and then you pour the boiling water, right over the coffee itself. And some believe it's the best, it's the most pure way to drink coffee. I think it is because there's no contact anywhere between anything, in between the water and the coffee. So in other words, there's not running through any tubes or any kind of sprinkling systems. It goes from the kettle to the coffee. So that's what pour over is. So in my brand extension, I've got the Starbucks pour over kit. Inside the kit, you have, in the box, you have the Starbucks pour over. That's the hard cylinder that goes over the cup. You have special Starbucks filters that only work best with this kit, keep in mind. And then you have a coffee cup and a lid. Okay, so that's the brand extension. So now we can enjoy Starbucks anywhere we want to go. Even, brewing Starbucks at home in a natural way. And so you have the pour over cylinder, the filters, the cup and lid. Okay, now on top of this, these are all sustainable. The cylinder or the actual cone is made out of recycled plastic, PET plastic. The filters, of course, are biodegradable. So when you're done with the filter, you can throw it right in the garden. It'll biodegrade. And then the cup and lid, of course, are made of recyclable or otherwise responsible, sustainable materials. Okay, so now to refill, you have to go where? Back to Starbucks. You got it. Where do you get the product to fill the kit? To Starbucks. You got it. So it's creating a cycle of purchase, I want to call it, for a lack of a better term. Let's call it a cycle of purchasing. So you buy the kit, you use the kit, you replace the parts from the kit, and you have to replace the parts from the kit from the original seller. So it really points back to Starbucks. It's a brand extension that will presumably increase their sales. And plus, it meets all the parameters of the assignment. Okay, so that's my idea. I'm at 11 minutes. Didn't want to do that. Sorry, guys, but want to cut it short right now. But anyways, if you have any questions, comments, or otherwise, please feel free to contact me. All right? Good job. Everyone's doing fantastic. Can't wait to jump into this week. It's a really, really good one. And I'll see you guys in discussion board. Thank you.